They won't say it, but I will. It was never about luck. It was never about timing, and it was never about someone out there choosing you. The truth, you've been creating every moment silently, constantly, powerfully. What if I told you that nothing you're chasing is actually outside of you? That the life you want isn't coming, it's already written in your assumptions, playing out in disguise. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you're not just going to hear truth, you're going to feel it shift, something deep inside you. This is the revelation that ends the waiting and begins your authority. Let me tell you something that most people will never say out loud, not because they don't know it, but because they fear how powerful it makes you. You are not waiting, you are creating, and the sooner you realize that, the sooner your life starts bending in ways that others will call impossible. You're not stuck, you're not being delayed, you're not unlucky. You're simply operating under the illusion that something or someone outside of you must change first. But that's the great lie, because you are the signal, you are the source, and reality, it's not random. It's responsive. Every time you say, I'm waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, the right person, the right sign, you push the life you want further into the future and deeper into the realm of fantasy. But the truth, the moment you decide differently, everything begins to shift. And no, I don't mean wishful thinking or blind hope. I mean the moment you assume that it's already yours, the universe starts rerouting everything to match your new state. You see, people have been trained to think waiting is passive, but it's not. Waiting is an act of belief, and if you're waiting, you're declaring that what you want isn't here yet, that it's separate from you, that it's far away. So what does life do? It keeps showing you more of that same gap, because life doesn't bring you what you want, it brings you what you accept as real. And here's where it gets deeper. Every single day, you're not waiting for a thing, you're rehearsing a version of yourself. Quietly, automatically, habitually, you're rehearsing the self that feels worthy or unworthy, seen or ignored, capable or doubtful, and guess what? That version is the one who's manifesting your results, not because of effort, but because of identity. So ask yourself honestly, what version of you are you embodying right now? The version that says, I need more time, or the one who walks as if it's already done? The version that keeps peeking to see if anything's changed, or the one who knows the unseen shift is the change? I'm not saying this to flatter you. I'm saying it because someone needs to shatter the myth that you're powerless, that your life is on pause until something magical happens. No, the power is in how you see yourself, how you assume things to be. That's the magnetic force. That's the secret engine running behind everything you say, everything you do, everything you allow. When you start to embody the version of yourself who has, rather than the one who's still trying to get, life reflects that. Not slowly, instantly. But here's the problem. People think creation is something big and dramatic. Something that needs noise, fireworks, validation. No, creation is quiet, subtle, internal. It happens the moment you stop saying one day and start behaving like now is inevitable. Every result you've ever had in your life was born from a state you entered into and lived from, even when you weren't aware of it. That job that came out of nowhere, that relationship that just clicked, that opportunity that fell in your lap, you didn't chase them, you matched them and they showed up. People confuse motion with power, but frantic action without alignment is just exhaustion. Meanwhile, when your inner state is clear, calm, and deeply assumed, what you used to chase begins to chase you. That's not a coincidence. That's law. You must stop waiting for proof. You must stop needing physical confirmation before you allow yourself to feel what you're capable of having. Because here's the real twist. It only shows up when you no longer need to see it first. Faith in the unseen is not blind, it's creative. And those who understand this don't hope. They assume, they decide, and then they move through life as if their desire has already folded into the fabric of reality. Let people call you delusional, let them misunderstand your silence, let them laugh when you speak about what's coming, because when it does arrive, and it will, they'll say it happened overnight, but you'll know. You'll remember all those quiet moments where you shifted inside, where you chose belief over fear, certainty over doubt, alignment over desperation. You are not here to beg for what's already yours. You're here to remember that the version of you who has it already exists, and you tap into that version not by force, but by assumption, by carrying the energy, the posture, emotions, the self-talk, and the calm knowing of it is done. Creation is not something you start, it's something you recognize. The moment you drop the identity of the one who's still waiting, you step into the one who already lives it. That shift is invisible to the eye, but it shakes your entire timeline. So right here, right now, I want you to drop the language of lack. Drop the phrases that delay your future. Stop saying if, hopefully, maybe, someday, and start living from certainty. Speak from it. Move from it. Let your posture say what your mouth doesn't. Let your inner world become louder than the outer noise. This is not hype. This is how reality works. You're not just a participant. You're the projector. You're the script. You're the lens. And you've been rehearsing realities every single day, some unconsciously, some out of habit. But now that you know this, you choose what you rehearse. You decide what you embody. You no longer wait, you generate. So don't ask if it's possible. Ask if you're willing to assume that it's already done. Don't wonder when it's coming. Start being the version who's already living it. Because that's the beginning of real manifestation, not when things show up, but when you do. And here's the part they don't teach you. The world you're living in right now, every detail, every face, every twist and turn is the after effect of an image once held in your mind. Imagination is not some dreamy escape. It's the architect. It's the original mold. The outer world only appears solid because the inner one has already set its foundation. Before you ever touched it, before you spoke it, before you recognized it, it lived in your imagination. That was the moment it began. That was the moment it became real. But most people dismiss imagination like it's some child's toy, something to grow out of. What a mistake. Because the greatest power you'll ever hold is the ability to see beyond your current surroundings and assume something new into existence. You don't get what you want, you get what you see as real. And images you consistently allow yourself to feel and embody, even in silence, even in private, even in contradiction to what the world shows you, those are the ones that create your future. When you close your eyes and imagine yourself already where you want to be, doing what you want to do, feeling how you want to feel, you're not escaping, you're building. Every repeated mental scene is a brick. Every detail you rehearse is a wall. Every emotion you allow to rise while you imagine is the glue. People don't fail because they lack skill. They fail because they keep reinforcing the old images. They keep imagining worst-case scenarios. They replay disappointments. They envision being overlooked. And life, being the mirror it is, has no choice but to echo that back. You want a new outcome. Start by living a new scene internally. Close the gap between what is and what you see. Talk less about your current facts and more about your chosen vision. When you imagine clearly, consistently, and emotionally, you are giving orders to reality, not begging, not hoping, commanding. You don't have to know how it will happen. You only have to know that your inner scene is more important than your outer situation. People say, but it's just my imagination. No, it's never just your imagination. That's the womb of reality. That's where every invention, every empire, every love story, every healing, every breakthrough was first conceived. Nothing in this world has form unless it was first formless inside someone's mind. So hold it, strengthen it, feed it. Let it grow so vivid that your current life starts to feel like the outdated version. Let the vision take root so deeply that your body, your emotions, your posture all start responding as if it's already here, because the world doesn't move first, you do. Through the images you consistently honor, through the reality you mentally choose to live in long before it physically arrives. That's not fantasy, that's creation in motion, and whether you realize it or not, you're doing it constantly. Manifestation isn't something you switch on when you're feeling inspired or hopeful. It's not an occasional practice, it's a continuous broadcast. You are always manifesting silently or loudly, through your thoughts, through your reactions, through your assumptions. Even your quiet, repetitive complaints are requests. Even your casual doubts are directions. Reality doesn't just respond to your spoken affirmations, it obeys the dominant tone of your internal dialogue. So the question isn't if you're manifesting, it's what you're manifesting. Every fear rehearsed, every limitation accepted, every belief repeated becomes part of the blueprint, and the longer you dwell on it, the more precise and persistent it becomes in the external. Some people think they're stuck, but what they don't realize is they've just become fluent in imagining the worst and then calling it life. But nothing is stuck except the pattern you've kept alive. What you speak under your breath when no one's listening, that matters. What you say about yourself when you're alone, that matters. What you expect before you walk into a room, answer a message, or look in the mirror, that is the command. Because manifestation doesn't wait for a perfect moment to activate, it's already running, already translating your mood, your tone, your focus into form. You are creating every single moment, whether you call it intentional or accidental. And the most powerful shifts come not from changing your surroundings, but from changing the frequency of your inner tone. You've seen it, you've felt it. That one day when you woke up and something in you just clicked, you stopped doubting, stopped chasing, stopped worrying, and things began to align. People showed up, messages arrived, momentum formed. Why? Because your inner tone changed. You stopped arguing with your vision and started flowing with it. That's not magic, that's alignment. That's how it works. So monitor not just your words, but the energy behind them. Don't just say affirmations, feel them. Don't just visualize, inhabit the scene. Speak to yourself like someone who already lives what they want. Walk like someone who already owns the outcome. This is not pretending. This is programming. And whether you program yourself with hope or heaviness, the system still responds. The moment you recognize that every second is a contribution to your creation, you start taking your silence seriously. You stop throwing careless words into the air. You stop bonding with people through shared limitations. You no longer allow temporary emotions to narrate permanent stories, because you understand now it's all being recorded, not by someone else, not by fate, but by you, repeatedly, relentlessly, silently or loudly. And once you truly accept that, you stop letting circumstances intimidate you. You stop treating them like fixed walls and start seeing them for what they are: reflections, not rulers. Circumstances are followers, not leaders. They are not authority, they are not the deciding force. They are echoes, shadows, after effects of the stories you've been telling yourself. The problem is, most people keep reacting to the mirror. They try to smile after the reflection changes, but that's not how it works. The reflection can't move first. You have to. You were never meant to bow to what you see. You were meant to lead it. That's what separates the ones who shift timelines from those who repeat them. The moment you give a circumstance permission to define you, you hand over the script. And then you wonder why the same patterns keep playing out. But it's not because life is unfair. It's because you keep handing power to the outer world as if it gets the final say. It doesn't. It never did. You think being broke is a circumstance. No. It's a response to a story you've accepted. You think being ignored is a condition. It's the reflection of a state that says, I don't expect to be chosen. You think delays are fate. They're feedback. You keep showing the same assumption to the world, and the world keeps obeying, not out of cruelty, but out of law. Reality is neutral, it doesn't care what you assume. It just reflects it faithfully, so if you want the mirror to change, you don't fight the reflection, you shift the face looking into it. You choose a different stance, a different reaction, a different tone, and here's what happens. The moment you stop needing the outer world to prove anything before you believe it, internally, things begin to bend fast, because the outer is just a screen. The projector is always internal, and once you grasp that, you stop begging life to improve and start commanding it to match. Nothing outside you is permanent, it's only stabilized by repetition. Keep reacting the same way, and it will loop forever. Change your assumption, and it eventually must dissolve. You've seen it before. That one shift in belief, that one inner decision, and suddenly the opportunity arrives, the door opens, the person calls, not because of chance, but because you stopped bowing to the condition and started becoming the cause. You are not here to follow your circumstances. You're here to show them where to go. Don't ask them for permission. Don't wait for their approval. Speak as if the change has already occurred. Act as if the outcome is inevitable. Walk as if your reality is just catching up to the version of you that's already decided. That's when you become untouchable, not because life stops testing you, but because you no longer take your cues from what's outside. And while the world may tell you that struggle is noble, that grinding is the path to success, let me tell you something they keep overlooking: mental rehearsal outranks physical struggle every single time. You can spend years taking action from a misaligned state, and all you'll create is resistance. But one moment of inner clarity, one vivid rehearsal of the outcome you desire, can collapse time. You are not rewarded for effort alone, you are rewarded for alignment, and the most aligned version of you rehearses the scene mentally until it becomes natural, until it becomes the only acceptable reality. Before you chase, pause. Before you hustle, align. Before you exhaust yourself trying to force doors open, ask yourself if you've rehearsed walking through them first in your mind. The ones who master creation don't start with strategy, they start with inner imagery. They close their eyes and see themselves already there. They feel it, they breathe it, they let it become familiar. So familiar, in fact, that by the time the opportunity appears, it's not a surprise. It's simply a reflection of what they've already lived internally 1,000 times. You have to understand your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a memory and a mental rehearsal. If you can feel it with conviction, your body responds, your emotions shift, your confidence rises, and suddenly you're no longer trying to become someone, you are someone. That version of you already exists. It's not created through struggle. It's revealed through repetition, through the quiet, consistent rehearsal of the life you've chosen. You're not lazy if you take a moment to sit in silence and imagine. You're not delusional if you decide to mentally live the future before it physically arrives. That's mastery. That's leadership. That's how you move beyond survival and into deliberate creation. Struggle tells the world, I'm trying, but inner certainty says it's already mine. You don't need to fight every obstacle. You need to align with the version of yourself who has already overcome them. Stop solving problems with panic. Stop reacting out of fear. Rehearse the scene where you remain calm, where you handle it, where it resolves itself. That becomes your new emotional baseline. That becomes the vibration reality responds to. And here's what most miss. When the inner world is rehearsed enough, action becomes effortless. It's not forced, it's flowed. You know what to do, when to do it. And you do it with clarity. There's no more desperation, no more trying to prove. Just precision, just ease, just resonance. You don't have to force your way through the world. You're allowed to rehearse success mentally until it becomes your default setting. Not because you're escaping reality, but because you're rewriting it one inner scene at a time. And what makes it all work? what makes manifestation move from concept to reality, is one simple but deeply overlooked truth: the world conforms to the inner law you accept as true. Not the law someone else handed you, not the law of statistics or probability, your law, the one you carry inside, the one you live by without even realizing it. Because it's not what you say out loud, it's what you believe without question. It's what you defend emotionally. It's what you expect even when you hope for something else. That inner law becomes the silent architect of your outcomes. If you believe deep down that love always ends in loss, no matter how many affirmations you speak, your law will rule. If you believe that money only comes with sacrifice, that's the law reality will obey. If you believe you're unseen, overlooked, always second, then life will mold itself to echo that belief again and again until you challenge it, until you write a new law. This is why mental rehearsal works. This is why circumstances follow. Because reality is not working independently of your inner world, it's a direct extension of it. You're not reacting to life, you're reading the script you wrote, and every shift you want begins with a new law you accept. So you must ask yourself, what law have I been living under? Is it lack? Is it fear? Is it struggle? Because as long as you carry that internal law as truth, the outer world has no choice but to comply. Not because life is cruel, but because life is obedient. When you decide fully, calmly, consistently that I am chosen, life rearranges. When you accept I am safe, I am rising, I am worthy of ease, you start walking in ways that command those outcomes. People treat you differently, opportunities find you, not because you forced them to, but because your inner law sent out a different signal. This isn't about pretending, this is about authority. You're the lawmaker of your experience, and every time you allow someone else's opinion, someone else's doubt, or your past limitations to write your laws, you hand away your power. But the moment you rewrite them, the moment you say, this is what's true for me now, and you hold to it regardless of appearance, things begin to submit to that new command. You don't need to change the world. You only need to change the law that governs your world. The part you can't see yet, it's not absence. It's alignment in motion. Hold to the new law. Watch what bends. Watch who shows up. Watch what disappears. Because life has no choice but to mirror what you've accepted as already yours. That is the hidden order behind what looks like chaos. That is the power behind quiet certainty. That is how reality reveals itself, not by force, but by faithful reflection.